I used to work 3 jobs so I could pay all my bills and save for college. And at one of my jobs, which was selling sunglasses at a mall in Phoenix, a man and a woman came up to me. They looked young, maybe somewhere in their 20s. They were well dressed too. The man asked if it would be out of place if he said I was pretty, and I was like, no, it was a compliment.
Then he told me that he was a model agent and that he was looking for some new models in the area, and he asked me if I was interested. It's not something that I've been wanting to do or anything, but it seemed interesting, and I wouldn't have to work as much either because I'd be making extra money. So I agreed to meet them that night at the restaurant after I got off work. There they told me that they were on their way back to their office in California to do some more photo shoots, and that they wanted me to go along with them. The man said that I could probably make $1,000 or more, and that I could just try it for 3 days and see what I thought, and so I went with them.
The next morning, before we left, they took me to get my hair done and my nails done and my makeup done. It was all really exciting. And then later, they started taking pictures of me, but they just used like a cheap disposable camera, and I started getting a little confused about what was going on. But they said that once we get to California, that we would be at a photo shoot, and they'd be using some really good equipment, and they'd have makeup artists and stuff like that. So I just decided not to worry about it. When we got to California and left the airport, they walked up to this car, and I was following them, and then they just turned around and pushed me in. There were 2 men already inside. One of them tied up my hands and put tape over my mouth and told me if I screamed or I acted stupid, he'd shoot me, so I stayed quiet.
He goes, "If I were to shoot you right now, where would you want to be shot? In your head or in your back or in your chest?" And then I hear him start messing with his gun. Then he counted to 3 and pulled the trigger, but I was still alive. I opened my eyes and I just saw him laughing. We drove around for hours, and then the guy who was in the back with me drugged me. I didn't know where I was or where we were going, and I was just really confused and scared. I remember the car stopping, and then I remember being in some room, and then that's where I heard them say that there was a middle-aged guy in the living room that wanted to take advantage of a 17-year-old girl. The guy walks in, and he goes, "Bend her over, I want to see what I'm working with." And that's when he started to rape me. And I see more guys. 4 other guys had come into the room, and they all had a turn.
Later that night, the men from the car came back into the room, and they were asking me if I was hungry. I told them no. That's when they put the dog biscuit in my mouth, trying to get me to eat it, but I wouldn't, so they tossed me back into the car and drove around to different men who all forced me to have sex with them. There were about 11 different stops. When we got back to the apartment, they threw me in a small dog kennel and left me there for days. My whole body went numb. The only time they let me out was when there were men waiting for me in the bedroom.